You're listening to the Media Man Dan Podcast. Promoting people with passion all over the globe. Interviews every weekend. Album reactions every month. This is your host, Media Man Dan. Let's rock! What's up, guys, and welcome to the Media Man Dan Podcast. Today, I bring you nothing but the best. Once again, straight out of SoCal, we have Havoc Faction, a rock band that infuses superheroes. You guys love both of those topics, and somehow no one was cool enough to put them together and make it sound awesome with incredible visuals. Right now, I'm going to be talking to Kyle of the band, otherwise known as Backdraft, his awesome superhero character, with the awesome eyes that I haven't seen look so epic ever. Like, just the most epic look I've ever seen, dude. Welcome to the podcast. It is so nice to have you here.
Thank you so much. It's so good to be here. And I love that intro. That
yes,
was epic.
Sir. Always try to bring it up, and that's my stage. This is my stage.
Hell yeah. No, I love it. Own it, baby.
Absolutely. All right, so we talked about it in the pre-chat, which you guys can go and check out on Patreon. We talked about his favorite superhero being Red Hood and I was gonna say Nightwish, Nightwing.
I know we're all caught up in band stuff. Nightwish, that's a good band.
Yeah, Nightwish is amazing. Absolutely, it was because of the power metal stuff with Blood.
Yeah.
But my favorite thing, because I'm such a Disney kid, is the first time I saw your mask, I thought of the movie Up, Up and Away. Have you ever seen that movie?
Oh man, I feel like you're either unlocking an old memory that has not been thought about in a long time, or I'm not super familiar. But yeah, I don't. Up and Away.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Do you want me to fully unlock that memory for you?
Yeah.
So one of the guys in Entourage plays a supervillain that is able to find out these superheroes that are in the neighborhood, urban territory, because it's a black family. For the first time ever, Disney was super progressive and created an awesome idea of a kid that has been the latest bloomer in a family of superheroes to gain his powers. And the only weakness that all of these supers are facing is a tin foil. You ever seen it?
Is tin foil?
Yes. Aluminum foil, tin foil. Awesome. Well, it's a great time if you wanted to watch some good old early 2000s cheese. It's probably on Disney Plus, and it actually has your same design with the mask, except for they don't have the white in the eyes. Yeah.
I know, dude. It was rare to ever get the white eyes in like live action superhero stuff. I would say like Umbrella Academy first did it.
Oh, they're superheroes?
Yeah, so like if you ever seen Umbrella Academy on Netflix, which is based off of Gerard Way's comic book, Gerard Way from My Chem, he wrote the comic book Umbrella Academy, and then they adapted on Netflix, and they actually showcased the white eye, like they were kind of like Robin masks, basically, is what they kind of wore,
Yeah.
and they did the white eyes on the show. And I was like, when they were kids, they did a flashback scene when they were kids, and they like how they looked in the comics, and they had the mask of the white eyes, and I was like, oh, sick. So actually, when I first started doing this, some people were like, "Oh yeah, like your mask is kind of like Umbrella Academy," and I was like, "Oh what? I hadn't seen it yet," and I was like, "Oh what?" And then I saw that, I was like, "Oh cool, they actually did like the mask with the wide eyes." I was like, I respect that, but of course, it was Gerard Way's comic. I know he probably, made sure that it was what his first original vision was.
Yeah, man. I did not know the Umbrella Academy had anything to do with superheroes or comics. I literally came from a binge with my fiance watching Gilmore Girls, and suddenly I saw that pop up, and I was like, oh, is this some kind of spin off for those guys that jump off of the roof with the umbrellas? Literally, that's all that I took it. I was like, it's umbrellas in the academy, and they're an academy, and they hold umbrellas. It's the same thing at Chilton or whatever the college is that she went to. I was like, this is it. I'm so good at this. I'm a genius, and now I know
That's
nothing.
so funny.
Yeah, and now what I thought you were talking about was Peaky Blinders and just getting the name wrong, and I was
Oh,
like,
Peaky
what's going on?
Blinders. Yeah,
Crazy
so there
though.
was that, and then of course Deadpool kind of started doing the wide eyes
Yes.
in that one. But yeah, like you never really got that. So I did it for two reasons. One, because you haven't seen it. Like at this point, when I first came up with the concept in 2016, and I was playing around with doing that, even in cosplay, like cosplayers and stuff, as far as I knew, not a lot of people were doing the wide eyes. They didn't like either know how or they just didn't want to. I don't know. But it was mainly the mask with the makeup, and I was like, I don't want to have to put makeup on every show. I don't have to deal with putting it on and taking it off every show. So I was like, if I do the white eyes right, where I can see and everything, it'll one look fucking cool, and two make it so I don't have to put makeup on. So I was like, I got to make this work. So I found this material, and I was able to cut it, glue it, put it on my mask, and I was like, cool, I can see. This is great. So
As the Hulk says in Endgame, I see this as an absolute win.
yeah, exactly.
Let me share the screen with you right now. I found a picture of the family I was talking about from Up Up and Away, just so you can see how the mask looks. And you'll see it's a very common design without the white in the eyes. Does
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, wow. You know what? Now that I see this,
does this look
I
nostalgic?
I do remember this, but I don't think I ever watched it. But I do remember like promo for it.
Yeah, yeah, and that's
Wow.
like that's like good old Batman and Robin type of masks. Like those are like the longest, weirdest version. They couldn't just go straight around the eyes themselves. But that was the
Yeah,
first thing that
yeah.
came to mind when I saw yours, and I was like, "This is epic." And then I was like, "Nightwing, Nightwing. It's got to be Nightwing."
Yep. Yeah, I kind of the mask kind of takes inspiration from old school like 80s Nightwing, the first like iteration of Nightwing because his mask was kind of really big. And I really liked that because over the years and everything, Nightwing's mask is now like pretty compact. It's kind of curves around like that.
Yeah.
Um, which I have. I do cosplay as Nightwing when I go to conventions and stuff sometimes. So I have a separate mask for my Nightwing cosplay. But yeah, this one was kind of more inspired by his 80s look. His mask technically in the comics was blue. It was like a light blue before it switched over. But yeah, that was the inspiration. And then the jacket is like Red Hood inspiration, and then the attitude that I give that character is more Red Hood because I love Nightwing. I love his charm and charisma, but I also love Red Hood's just like I don't give a fuck attitude. So I've always like that's kind of how I am as a person, give or take. So I was like, yeah, it's gonna be I'm gonna blend those characters together, and just that's gonna be Backdraft.
Awesome, awesome. So Backdraft is the character that you created. How long ago did you create this character? Was this only for the band, or was this something you've had since you were a kid? You're like Backdraft, and why
It
the name Backdraft, by the way?
it was mainly just for the band, but I always did want to have like my own kind of comic book idea of sorts. I've always been obsessed since the 90s, when I fell in love. Like, we were lucky growing up in the 90s. We had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, we had Batman, the animated series, we had Spider Man, the animated series, we had X Men, the animated series. We just had so much as kids. We had the Sonic animated series. We had so much fucking cool shit in the 90s. Being a kid in the 90s is literally the fucking best. I don't care what anyone says, that was the best time to be a kid,
Yes.
hands down.
And the action figures
And
went with them, dude. Remember the action
dude, the action
figures?
figures were everything. Beast Wars too. Like, Transformers was great in the 80s, but we got Beast Wars in the 90s, and Beast Wars was sick. Like, oh my god, dude, just there's a reason why that era is just so nostalgic,
Hmm.
like the video games and everything. It was such a special decade. And yeah, ever since I've just been obsessed, and I've always, like, I wanted to be able to have my own kind of comic book, like, create my own world, my own characters. And back then it was important to me because I was, like, so inspired by all the awesome comic book stuff that was happening at the time. But now more than ever, because I almost gave up on it, but more than ever, with just a lot of kind of Disney ruining some things, or just things being adapted terribly, or just even some of the comic runs are just not as good. I don't know who's writing some of this shit. I'm like, what's going on? It's like, more than ever, I think everyone's just really kind of like wanting some new, different, fresh stuff. They're tired of seeing their favorite superheroes just kind of get tossed to the side, or just be written terribly, and it's just rehashed and rehashed and rebooted, that it's like, we want new shit, we want new fresh things. Like, when Invincible finally was adapted to Amazon Prime as an animated series, like, that changed the game, I think, because it was like, fuck yeah, this is good, it's adult, it's fresh, it's well made, it's well written.
Hmm.
And it's like, there's more out there than just DC and Marvel. Like, there's more stuff out there, and it's like, I think people are really hungry for it. So I really hit a point where I was like, do I give up the comic book thing, or do I double down and really go and lean into this, and, like, really try to give people, like, a new comic book world and characters that they can sink their teeth into. So that's where I'm at.
Love it,
And
man.
Backdraft is my guy. I came up with the name, basically because my character is what I call an acolyte, and an acolyte is someone who's undergone, like, gene hacking therapy. So in my world, my mom was like a gene hacking, like gene splicing scientist, and my dad, who I never met, this is like, spoilers, not spoilers. It's in the comic book lore that I've released on my Instagram. But uh, my dad in the story died by fire, so she doesn't want that to happen again. So she basically makes me fireproof, so
Awesome.
can withstand fire, heat, all that kind of stuff. And then I'm going to be adding to that even more, where, because I like the idea of unlocking powers. I always think that's so cool. That's a Dragon Ball Z kind of thing, and
Oh
like
yeah.
other, like, where you level up, you get pushed past your limit, and then, like, you develop this new ability, basically. So I want to kind of create it so, like, I can now combust, like what a backdraft, thing is. Because backdraft is a firefighting term, um, wherein the heat gets trapped into, like, a door. Like, you can feel the door is, like, really, really hot.
Hmm.
And if you open that door, it's gonna cause, like, an explosion, basically. There's a movie called Backdraft in the 90s, a firefighting movie that's fantastic. I think it's a great movie. Still holds up. Kurt Russell in it. Fantastic movie. And then there's a Thrice song called Backdraft, which was named after the same thing
Hmm.
on their Fire album. And so it's just a lot of those things. Kind of, I was like, Backdraft. That's my name.
Hell
So it just kind of
yes.
made sense.
So you were just talking about Thrice. How perfect was that, dude? You literally brought up the one band that you covered to start your discography with Fire Breather. I did not know that it was a Thrice cover. Honestly, I didn't hear much Thrice besides that one song I cannot remember the name of, from 2018, 2019.
Black Honey.
Black Honey, there you go. So I
Yeah.
thought that was the only sound they've ever had. Very different
Oh,
when I
that's
found
funny.
out yeah, they've been around for a long time, so
Yeah, they've changed their sound quite a bit. Their first three records were most similar, cohesive, but then after that, they really started just changing things up. But yeah, by the time like Alchemy Index came out, it was dude, Alchemy Index, I can nerd out about Thrice like all day long, but Alchemy Index was just one of the coolest pieces of music, I think, especially rock. Just music in general, though. I think it's just incredible how they created 4 6 song EPs that have the theme of an element for each one, and they do it in such a way where like the Fire record is their heavy, aggressive, dark like EP, and then the Water is mellow and aquatic and peaceful and like mysterious. And then Air is very lighthearted and just feel good and indie kind of rockish. And then their Earth one is just acoustic, raw, folky, like bluesy, just they just did 4 different genres in like 2 epic releases basically, and all within a year. I think it came out. I think volume 1 and 2 came out 2007, volume 3 and 4 came out 2008. And man, I was in high school when that came out, and that shit blew my mind. I was like, that is what really made me a Thrice fan. They were already my favorite band, but that just really cemented it. Where I'm like, dude, this is literally the coolest band in the world, because I don't know any other band that can do anything like this.
yeah.
So
And now we have
covering Fire Breather just kind of made sense.
two like movie representations of the elements. We got Avatar and Avatar. One of
Yeah.
them being a good movie, the other one being a very good show. I've been told on Netflix, the reinterpretation of Avatar from the original from Nickelodeon, not the movie from M. Night Shyamalan. Apparently, a massive
Oh,
disaster that one was. But Avatar now is focused on all 4 elements for 4 movies, and I find it as fascinating as you to see all of these elements in a weird and unique way with the music of Thrice. This is the only thing I can connect Thrice to, and this is going to be as 90s as I possibly can be. Thrice Candy in Mario Party 8. I don't know
oh
if it's in all
wow.
the Mario parties, but Mario Party brings me all the way back to the 90s with that N64, baby.
Dude, I laugh if that's where they got their name from.
That would be crazy,
No,
right?
I think they named themselves in like 19. Yeah, I think they named themselves in 1998 or 1999, something like that. Yeah, obviously, like yeah, not even they have ever really said like why Thrice. They're like, I don't know, we just went with Thrice, and I was like, it's random, but it made sense. It's still cool. I'm like, dude, it's a cool band name, Thrice. Like, it's a
Yeah,
cool word.
they're
It's
the only
it's
one
it's an
too.
unused. You don't hear it that often.
Yeah,
Once, twice, thrice. Usually people just say once, times, 3 times. Like,
yeah.
they don't say thrice. They just, anyways.
So true, so
Yeah.
true.
So Fire Breather, I felt like just kind of made sense because I love the message in it, and it goes with my character being fireproof. And it's one of my favorite Thrice songs. I think it's an underrated Thrice song, and I wanted to bring that to the forefront and do it justice. So that was actually like that was my first time like really truly covering a song in a recording. So yeah,
And it was good. I mean, you guys came from what you said originally with your old band was pop punk, and you could tell that
yeah.
by the style alone that the percussion especially was not up to the metal that it is currently. Like it was just growing into what the sound was going to be overall, and your aesthetic was becoming more and more of less of a dream and more of a reality. And that's the cool thing about it is like as adults, we never knew that being a kid was like so powerful. Like having an imagination when we were younger, we can take that and make it into something magnificent that with the power of nostalgia, other people want to enjoy as well, which is really
Hmm.
unique. Nobody in this now generation of kids growing up is going to be like, here's an iPad game that I remember, and I'm going to make a whole band based on this iPad game. Like, that's not the same thing. It's like we grew up in 80s and 70s kids, of course, too. All the comic book kids. Like that was huge. That changed everything. And we've always had some kind of inspiration to be a superhero. In my case, I wanted to be a Power Ranger. I wanted to be Spider-Man. I wanted to be Batman. And I will always hold those forever with me. As whenever somebody has their cosplay on, I'm just in glee. I'm like, how do you not look at that and be like, that's a badass person right there? Like that is so cool. And they just impacted all of us when we were growing up. They gave us this mentality of like, you could be a superhero. Like, you ever had
Hmm.
those dreams where you're like full on I Power Ranger, so I would have my morpher and I'd wake
Oh,
up and
dude.
I'd be like, wait, my suit's gone.
Yep. Oh, I was a big Power Ranger fan too. Massive Power Ranger fan.
Yes. Okay. Okay. We'll have to go into that later on because this is two interviews now where we are focusing on Power Rangers at the end. This is crazy, but it's also worth it because I mean, people out there, it is cool to be like a total dork or nerd these days. It's finally cool to be that kid
Hmm.
with the Ninja Turtles lunchbox. We would always get mocked for these things when we were kids, and that was new and cool for like the mainstream, but all the other kids would be like, "Oh, what a loser. Oh, what a loser. You don't like sports? Oh, you don't like this?" It's like, but Power Rangers is awesome. And now people
Yeah.
understand after 30 years of it being on TV. It's
Yep.
crazy. Changed
Yep.
everything, man. But either way, man, let's talk about your music. We were talking about Fire Burner. My apologies, I get the name wrong. Fire Breather. Fire
Yeah.
Breather
Yeah.
was the first single currently that I could find on Spotify. Is that the actual first single, or was this just the one that you kept?
So it's actually that actually came out after our first two releases. I just re-released those first two releases, so it looks like they came out after Fire Breather on
Oh,
Spotify.
Keyboard Warriors and
But
Home Wrecked?
yeah, Keyboard Warriors and Home Wreck. So the first song I ever wrote was Keyboard Warriors, and
Okay.
yeah, yeah. So that was before I even had bandmates. It was a song like the opening riff, the guitar picking is actually like the I wrote that like God back in 2012 or something like that, and I just had that whole intro of that song written for so long, and I didn't do anything with it. So when Green Light Theory broke up, I was like, okay, I need to write a song, and I was like, you know what? I was jamming a lot of Chevelle and 30 Seconds to Mars at the time, and I was like, I feel like this could have a cool like Chevelle 30 Seconds to Mars kind of like feel to it if I do this right. And then so that was the inspiration behind that song and why it came out kind of like this really alternative, like groovy hard rock kind of song. Um, and then Home Wrecked was after I found my first lead guitarist, Ty Zhang, and we wrote Home Wreck together. And that one was like a little bit of pop punk influence. That one was like a bouncy, riffy, like kind of more upbeat song. And that was actually become like a fan favorite. That one's like whoever's been around as a fan for a long time. And even new fans, when they discover the band, a lot of people fall in love with that song. So that's one that still sticks in our set. And it's also just so fun to play live. It has a lot of energy. Like I said, it's our upbeat, bouncy song. So
Yeah.
until I write something new that just kind of replaces that, that'll kind of stick in the set because I like that song. I'm proud of it. I wrote that song and it still holds up lyrically. It's just very much about corrupted politicians and leaders and calling them out and our corrupted like law system too that can just be played out like a lot of shit like that, and that's what inspired that song "Home Wrecked." Like the reason why I titled it that because a lot of people always assume it's about a home wrecker or a breakup of a marriage or something, but I'm like, no, home wrecked as in like someone coming in and wrecking your home.
That makes so
And,
much sense. Yeah, I was
so yeah,
thinking
that's kind of
of
that was me trying to be witty when I was 27.
nice. Well, hey man, how old are you now, by the way?
34.
34. Well, you don't look over anything like same with me. How old do you think I am? This is gonna be fun.
I was gonna guess like 27.
Woo! That feels great. I'm 31.
Oh, nice, dude. Yeah,
Yeah,
look at
dude.
us in our 30s, our best years.
It really is, man. 30 is the new 25.
Yeah, dude. I feel like I'm healthier than I've been. I
Hmm.
feel like I know myself the most. I feel like I have a better grasp on life. I feel like just I don't know. Coming into your 30s is it really is eye-opening to say the least. And I had no idea because I was scared, man. I was scared that like, man, I'm gonna be 30. No one's gonna take me seriously while I'm still doing what I'm trying to do. Like, and then now I'm 34 and I'm still like, nah, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, it
I just want to be
happens.
happy. Like at the end of the day, everyone's just struggling just to find happiness. And I'm like, that's all I want. That's all I'm trying to do.
Yeah, man. And you bring joy with the comic book interpretation as well with everything you're doing. So I want to know the lore overall. Do you have a quick summary that you can give me of so
Oh
far
yeah.
how many characters you've added and how many villains you've added? You're talking about how they've been added to live shows. And let's go into the live music as well with this because with these songs that you're playing, you said that Home Wrecked is a big one. A lot of people enjoy and they like to see it live. Is this going to be like one of those final encore songs? Like, like you walk off and you wait for that crowd to go crazy and you come back and you're like, all right, guys, there's a throwback. This one's called Home Wrecked. And then people just like, yeah, best day of my life. I saw him play Home Wrecked. Like, like that nostalgia.
I think Home Wrecked we use more in the middle of the set to kind of just bring energy kind of in,
Okay.
or we use in the very beginning. Welcome to the Fight has always been our closer. Um, it's kind of the most metally song, but it has this outro in it that because it goes from being like a metalcore song to being just this really pretty outro that's anthemic and like even has this like almost of a poppy vocal thing because there's a dual vocal thing going on. And in the end, like I switched from singing like a quiet chorus to being like, can you see, can you see, can you see, yeah, like I'm just like kind of belting out this like I'm almost like I feel like a pop star every time I do it, but it works because it's like I don't know, coming out of a metal song into it, it's like it's different. It's not what you expect, but you go into this groove. I get people usually like, clapping or waving their hands and like it becomes this whole like big outro and then it just ends on the me screaming this solo vocal um while my guitarist is singing like a nice pretty quiet melody and then it just ends and it was always just like a way it felt conclusive to our show. But we recently just switched it up and started closing with probably, in my opinion, one of our most epic songs, which is Conflicts and Confrontation.
Yep.
So we're kind of switching it up and just kind of seeing what sticks and seeing how what flows best because we've played shows where the set is kind of more or less the same, but this year we're trying to switch it up, and then we're also trying to incorporate new songs. So
Yeah. Yeah. So with your live set, with how you like structure the songs that you're going to play, it's based on crowd reaction, and this happens with any band, and
mhm.
especially in the beginning. What was it that like your first hit that you realized the crowd really wants to hear this song? Was it that Sorry, I just literally had it on the screen and then it disappeared. Home Wrecked?
um, Home Wrecked was for sure. It's always one that gets people kind of moving a little bit, but I would probably say Someone Else to Blame has been that's been our hit, which is the song that we put out last year.
Yeah.
And that was actually the first song where I saw strangers in the crowd when we played at Chain Reaction last year with Scary Kids Scaring Kids. And there was people in the crowd that I didn't know personally who were singing along to that song. And I was
What?
like, whoa, dude, I don't know if I've ever really noticed that, other than, I always, obviously I know people that are show up to our shows and they'll sing along. But when I saw people that I didn't know singing along to this song, I was like, oh shit, this is it. Like, this is like, this one really got fans. This one really got people into our band, and like they are singing this, and it was brand new. This is like our second time ever playing this song live, and it was only a couple months old at this point, and I was like, damn, people are like singing along to this song. Like, people move to that song. Like, when we played at the Whiskey, I think 2 months prior to that show, or 3 months prior, that was the one that got like the mosh pit. And I was like, okay, this song is a banger. Like, this is the one that, like, this one really does it. So yeah, that one is now, like, now we put that later. We used to be in the beginning of the set, so now that one goes later in the set.
That makes sense. Oh my god, dude. Well, that is epic. I've never heard a brand new song where the people have listened to it so many times they actually remember the lyrics. Just recently, I went to see Of Virtue, and there was one chorus, and I screwed up on basically all the lyrics. And it's pretty great because I have the live footage to hear myself screwing up all the lyrics, and that's what I have to post. So I'm like, should I add the actual studio sound and just pretend that I didn't sing there? Like that's like a fan interaction. Is like you have to be fully confident in what you're singing in order to sing out loud at the artist. That's just the way
Yeah.
that it goes. Dead by April was the main headliner, and their vocalist is their guitarist, and so he didn't sing for most of the verses. It was all us. like,
Oh
like
wow.
so it's like by memory. I'm like, does anyone know what we're singing right now? Because it just goes right back into the chorus, and that's when he sings. And I'm like, oh, this is a very odd experience. I did not know that I came to do karaoke. This is very cool. Karaoke with the artist you pay for. I like it.
Interesting. Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Definitely,
That's
but
how that's how I felt when I saw 30 Seconds to Mars a couple times, where he's like, "Sing it," and I'm like, "I didn't come here to sing. Actually, I came here to hear you sing."
that's correct. Yeah. Oh my gosh. And he's an absolute wacko. He absolutely is one of the strangest people in Hollywood, but at the same time, he is a great actor and an incredible vocalist. And I do want to compare your voice to his voice. And that is, of course, I never remember names when I need to think of them. Hold on.
That's okay. I get those too.
Right? I'm like, it's right there. It's just on the tip of the tongue. I can tell you every movie I saw him in. All right, obviously it's Morbin
Jared Leto?
time.
You're talking about Jared Leto, or you're talking
Thank
about
you.
someone
There we
else?
go. Jared
Oh,
Leto.
okay. Jared Leto,
It's
yeah.
like, okay, Joker, all of this, all of these characters. I can be like Blade Runner 2049, but I cannot remember his
Yeah, all the
fucking
movies
name.
he's in. Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, so Jared Leto, his hardcore, not hardcore, his post-hardcore type of harsh vocal going into his Fry Scream, you have a pretty similar vibe with yours. And I noticed that on, I don't think Substance was the one that I noticed it on the most. Conflicts and Confrontation, definitely.
Yeah.
And what was the other one where we were hearing screaming? I had my parents listen with me because I always like to show them what I'm doing. It's good
Oh,
to
I love
share the
that.
love. Yeah. And my dad, he's a fan. He said he wants to let you know he likes your music. So
Oh, dude,
congratulations.
tell him thank you so much. That means a lot,
Yeah.
because my dad's kind of indifferent about my music, so that's that means a lot.
Well, there we go. Yeah, my dad's pretty harsh when it comes to anything with screams. He doesn't like it. So I mean, that's pretty good that he
Yeah,
stuck with it for a little bit. Yeah, Conflicts and
yeah, same.
Confrontation, and of course Unholy Confessions. But that's of course many vocalists on there. I will say, like your overall tone, I had a question of like, am I getting this wrong? I heard of Mice and Men a little bit. I heard Memphis
Oh,
May
nice.
Fire a little bit, and I was trying to figure out which main vocal I was hearing when it came to your cleans that were a little bit harsher. And now Jared Leto of 30 Seconds to Mars makes sense, and you are highly involved with talking about them. So please continue your story. So you saw them, and they asked you to sing instead of actually singing the song. What song was that they were singing?
Oh, almost every song that they performed at, where I was just in the crowd, and like, he would just be like, he'd sing a couple parts and then he'd just be like, sing it, and then it's just a whole crowd singing the song, and I'm like, I didn't come here to hear all these people sing, dude. I came here to hear you sing, like. And then he played one old song. He played The Kill acoustic,
What?
and I was like, you play only one song off of Beautiful Lie, and you play it acoustic. I was really bummed.
Yeah, that
I
doesn't
was a
sound like the
massive 30
best.
Seconds to Mars fan. I was a massive fan. I mean, their first 2/3 records are still to this day like some of my favorite pieces of music. Like that first record honestly means a lot to me. The second record, Beautiful Lie, of course, also does too. And This Is War, I think, is a fantastic record. But yeah, like I was a massive fan, and I really wish I got to see them in those early years. If I could travel back in time, I would absolutely go watch 30 Seconds to Mars pre 2011, and I
Nice.
would I would be very happy. But um, yeah, it's yeah, I don't know. Like I said, as a vocalist, like those that like be like 30 Seconds to Mars is kind of what made me be like, dude, I want to be in a fucking band. Like that, like I love it. Like playing in Antarctica or wherever they did, like for a music video to draw attention to global warming and being like, hey, let's care about the environment. Like I respected that. I thought that was fantastic. I like having a message. Um, but like I like, and their aesthetic was great too. Like they were just the pinnacle of being a band to me at that time. And so I used to practice singing to 30 Seconds to Mars all the time, and I loved how he would go into like that false chord, like in like Attack, for example. The I am fine life. I just love how he just goes into that like. So I used to practice that all the time, and now I've kind of like, yeah, my screams and stuff are very much that mixed with like a little bit of Chester Bennington is also kind of what I was practicing, mixed with like Finch. Like Finch was a
Finch.
big band. Yeah.
That was also coming to mind when I was listening. I was like, okay, there's another band here, and I can't figure out who it is. And then I was like, nah, they're not Finch, because I mean, Finch is more pop punk. But there are
They did
moments
have
in
a little bit more pop
Finch.
punk early on. But like yeah,
Yeah.
Finch and Story, I would say Story of the Year is who we get compared to the most.
Okay. I have to listen to more of them.
Especially Crossfire and Conflicts. And Someone Else to Blame for sure. Someone Else to Blame actually really is like that's very much a Story of the Year meets Killswitch Engage like song, like flat out. I will just say like those two bands totally mixed with Under Oath. Like our that whole bridge, the way I wrote that bridge vocally was absolutely inspired by Spencer Define the Great Lion era Under Oath. So that was like our most post-hardcore song. I think that's why Someone Else to Blame resonate most because it's like it's groovy, it's catchy, and it's fucking heavy. And I'm forever proud of that song. Um, but yeah, so that's who I channel the most for sure. Is like I'll do a song like Crossfire where it's very 30 Seconds to Mars, and then I'll do a song like Someone Else to Blame where it's very Story of the Year, Under Oath, Killswitch Engage.
I'm so glad that you accept it and embrace it. Many people are afraid to say that they are anything like the artists that they listen to because they don't want to have comparison or be like, oh, I'm not up to their level or whatever it is. In my opinion, if you have an influence, it's obviously going to be there unless you're
Yeah,
creating the first sound ever. Good luck with that. It is very challenging in, 2025 where everything has already been attempted. However, I can say that there are moments where you do have your own individualism that can shine through, and that's for every artist that's listening right now. You guys make your own thing. It's awesome. And if you want to be superheroes, don't do that because it's Havoc Factions thing.
yeah. Unless like you guys want to be villains and then we just like write songs dissing each other the whole time.
Collab, I love it. Superheroes versus villains collab. I actually
It would
think
be
that would
rad actually
be
if there was a group of villains that came out and they're like, "Well, we saw this," and it'd be ironic if they became so much bigger than us. Or if Ronnie Radke discovers us and is like, you know what? This next era of Falling Reverse, we're gonna be villains, and we're doing nothing but talk shit on Havoc faction.
He's the master of talking shit, so that would be a
Yeah,
perfect
so
thing for him.
I would be honored. I'd be like, dude, that's I would if they become our villains, like that's fantastic.
I
No,
feel
but it'd
like
be really cool. It'd be super fun to have like a band of villains and like we just do a whole like tour together. I don't know. I feel like doing something like that is out of the box, but also like people would pay money to go witness. You know what I mean? So I don't know. We'll see if I can like keep getting this vision up to snuff. I feel like there could be some really cool avenues that open up.
hell yeah, man, hell yeah. So personally, what is your favorite song that you've released?
Oh, honestly think my go-to answer for that has usually always been My Human Condition. Is an underrated song. It used to be a favorite song for people to hear live because it's our ballad. Um, we haven't played it live, and honestly, God, we haven't played it live in a couple years. I think last time we played it was in 2023. Actually, is the last time we played it. Um, it's a ballad and it's a story, and it's about picking yourself up when you feel absolutely defeated. And it was a basically like me talking about continuing on in music is like the inspiration behind it. But the way I wrote it was from the perspective of a hero who got the shit kicked out of him and still finding the will to get back up and fight. Um, very much like Spider-Man 2 kind of stuff.
Yes,
Um,
yes. They're at their lowest moment and they have to figure out
yeah.
how to prevail. Oh my god, that's epic. I was thinking of My Hero Academia as well. Like
Oh
there's
yeah, yeah,
many moments where
exactly.
Deku doesn't know if he can actually do it and he, cries about All Might, but
Yeah, I know.
then he just somehow has this fist that comes out of nowhere and it's like, bro,
Yeah,
why were you ever worried, bro? Why were you crying about All Might every single time? That's
every single
I've
time.
seen the first two seasons, as you could tell.
Yep, yep, yep.
So much
I
more to
know.
catch up on.
That show got better, which I'm very happy about. I liked it a lot, but like I'm still continuing on. I'm on like season 4 or 5, I think. I have to re-catch up. I started just watching other things,
Yeah.
but yeah. So that song is to me for me it was like wow. I need to write like a story, and that song was very much storytelling, and it also has a little bit of a love story in there because while while you are worrying about the fate of the world or yourself during all of this or just things that are important to you and you're fighting for what matters to you, you have someone who's in your corner who's fucking watching you and dealing with the consequences of what you're choosing, and it can be tough. There's a lot of pressure on them, and it's kind of acknowledging that as well. So it's like a little bit of love story in there while also kind of going through all this like self doubt, self realization, and everything like that. So that's one of my personal favorite songs that we wrote and recorded. Like I even listen back on that song and I'm like, damn, I wrote this like when I was 27. Like I don't even know. I'm sitting here trying to recapture that. And I'm like, fuck. How do I get back to that? Like I feel like did I peak? Like damn, this is so good.
Yeah, dude.
And I'm like,
And
no one even knows about this song. And this is like, to me, this is such a good song. I need to do something like this again.
what's crazy is that
Um,
there's two versions of this song. This was your first remix with the synthwave style. How did the synthwave become part of your sound overall?
oh, dude, I love that you touched on that. I actually have not ever fucking touched on this. So I became like really into synthwave back in like 2015 ish, 2015, 2016. Um, I started getting really into synthwave and I still am. Like synthwave has now become like my favorite genre of music outside of punk, metal, emo, post-hardcore, alternative. Like synthwave like recaptured my just attention for music, and like I love synthwave so much. I could talk about it all day. I love the aesthetic. I love the imagination. I love the sounds. I love just so much stuff about it. I love that it's very soundscapey sometimes, and
Yeah,
it like really transports you like into another world. And I was like,
Shrine.
dude, yeah. I was like, dude, I really want to like, would love to make a synthwave song, but I was like, I don't really know like I didn't want to make like a totally original song. I was like, what if we just turned one of our songs into a synthwave song, like kind of style where it's very synthy and spacey and stuff. So that's what we did. And I was like, I feel like My Human Condition would be the best because we added like also just piano and stuff, soundscape stuff. Like I would say traditionally, it's not like a synthwave like sound where it's like 80s synthwave. It's kind of more of like a synth rock kind of thing where
Yep.
like the Annex, which is an artist that I got to collab with, who did another remix of my song Crossfire, where he's very synthy, but it's not synth wave, but it's still like this cyberpunky type of kind of music. And that was my first time like doing that, and it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with that, and I feel like that's a very overlooked song in our catalog.
Yeah. So one of my favorite remixes in rock that has to do with that EDM synthwave kind of feel is the song Unity by Shinedown. They remixed it into this like really upbeat, almost techno style. But Shinedown
Oh,
also
okay.
has a very successful song, and this combines the original song that we were talking about, My Human Condition. They have a song called A Symptom of Being Human. Have you heard that one?
No, I fell off with Shinedown, and I really need to revisit them.
Yes, you
I
do.
used to be a fan back in the day. Like I used to be a big fan, like the first two records. But I need to go back. I need to revisit.
Now, first two, are you talking about like Leave a Whisper and what was the second one? Us and Them? Or are you talking like Sound of Silence and Amaryllis?
I honestly don't even remember the album titles. Where I don't even want to fake it. I'll
No,
be like,
it's okay.
I need to fully just go back and remember everything because
Did
it's been a long time.
did the song
Because I
If
was
You
jamming
Only
them
Knew or
back when I first discovered like
okay.
I was jamming them, and then Crossfade came out, and then I
Yes.
kind of just became a huge Crossfade fan after that. I kind of just
Okay.
stopped listening to Shinedown.
No, no, no. You were listening to Us and Them then, because yeah, that was around the same time period. So you
Okay.
are to literally talk about their first two albums. Yeah, Crossfade with Cold. I mean, oh my god. The best bass
Yeah.
line in hard rock music. I literally was obsessed with that song, so much so I thought they were a perfect band, and then I realized they weren't there anymore. I was like, no, why
Oh,
why do all
dude.
these great bands disappear?
They're back though. They're
They are,
back,
yeah,
baby.
finally.
I want to go to one of the festivals that they're playing. I'm like, fuck, I need to go. I just want to go for Crossfade.
Literally just pay like
Fucking love
$400
them.
to see just one
Yeah.
band.
I mean, I'll go see all the other ones too, but Crossfade's the one who's getting me there. Like Crossfade's the reason why I'm going. I've seen a bunch of the other bands, so I'm like, oh, it'll be good to see, and then see some other ones I maybe haven't seen. But like, I'm mainly going for Crossfade.
Hook,
That's
line,
the
and
important part.
sinker.
Everything else is a bonus.
Dad Rock
But
got you. Butt
but
Rock
anyways,
got you.
yeah. So that's really cool. I didn't know that they did that. I'll have to. I definitely want to check that out.
Yeah, man. Their song "A Symptom of Being Human" is one of their biggest hits of all time. About the same exact kind of thing that you wrote about. So if you wanted to sue them, don't do that
Oh,
because they're good
that's
people.
yeah. No, of course not. No, I think I think it's cool. I love. I mean, I'm such a obviously believer of collective consciousness where we can I could write something and someone else through the divine will like somehow that will come out in them as well. I feel like we're all kind of tapped in some way or another. So that's how sometimes you'll get art, you'll get some similar piece of art somehow from across the world, and you're like, how did this person how did this come to be? Um, so I definitely want to check it out because I love that. I love parallels.
Hell yeah, man. And that's what I go for. Every time that I find something that connects with something that I personally know, I try to segue that in as much as I possibly can. You'll notice this in many conversations. I will take something that has nothing to do with it and go all the way back to the original topic. Somehow my mind goes through every direction and then all the way back to where we were. It is an insane thing, but I'm very, very lucky and happy that I have it. Because it's
Oh yeah,
hard
no, dude.
hard to get back on
Yeah,
track for most people. But man,
yes,
it's
sure.
what I live for, and this is literally one of my favorite things about being a interview host is that I always get to learn this information and then just add to it. So my first personal favorite song right now is Conflicts and Confrontation. You're talking about this being a very well written song as well as a meaningful song, which is two things that you absolutely love. Same with Someone Else to Blame. But in Conflicts and Confrontation, it's more about an inner struggle. Someone Else to Blame is more of like a rage fit, I could say. That's
Yeah.
that's the two differences, and I like both of their vibes, and I like your production. But I do have to say this: Substance, as much as I am a big fan of some of Demi Lovato's songs, not a big fan of that one. So when I heard the cover, I was like, well, anything will make this better. So here we go. And you guys did pretty good. You had a completely punked up kind of rhythm to it, and I was like, okay, there's some interesting moments here where I'm like, vocally, I have no idea if they're even trying to get to Demi's level or if it's just gonna be whatever they wanted to do. And I'm like, I'm here for it. That's sick, and I'm glad that anything close to pop goes punk or punk goes pop could be back in this mainstream again because we need it. And Punk Goes Crunk needs number two. We need another one.
Yeah, Punk Roast Crunk was fun. I agree. I think there should be another Punk Goes Crunk. I can't believe there's not. Yeah, Substance was fun. We got asked to be on that on Ghost Killer, and I was like, dude, this is huge. I would love to get on this. And so I actually did that with my friend Billy Sweet. Um, he just started like getting into kind of producing and stuff, and we were doing covers together just for fun. And I was like, dude, do you want to do this Demi Lovato cover? Because I honestly had no idea. I went through so many different artists and pop songs, and I was like, because I can't do something that's completely out of the box. Like if it's gonna be a under the Havoc faction like monocle, like I need to have like something that still fits within the theme and like something I would write about and stuff like that. So I was going through songs, and then Demi Lovato just dropped that record. I think just a year prior or less. And I was like, well, Demi Lovato dropped a new album. Maybe I'll go check that out. And I was going through, I'm like, oh, there's some cool songs on here. Because I heard everyone was praising it. Like, everyone's like, oh, it's such a cool, like, pop rock record. And I was like, all right, I'll check it out. And I was like, oh, I kind of dig this. I
Yeah.
like the lyrical theme. I like that it's kind of pop punky already. Like, it already kind of has this. I was like, I'm going to take this and I'm just going to make it heavier. I'm going to basically give it a Day to Remember Silverstein treatment, and that was kind of the goal, and that's what we kind of did. I was like, I want to just come in blazing, just fucking aggro with it, and like scream, let my voice break, let my voice crack. Like that's what I did in the chorus. I was on the tip of my fucking range in that song, and I let parts just go in. When I was trying to go high, I just went into just the false chord and just let my voice break and kind of become this little like screamy kind of thing. And I think it worked.
Yeah.
And then that whole second verse was just straight fucking just screaming like Silverstein style the whole time. And we had a lot of fun with it, and I thought it came out pretty good. And I it got a pretty good reaction. It got like a lot of people actually discovered us from that. I wouldn't say like a lot, but like I would say we got some fans from that, and some other bands like respected us and checked us out because of that. It definitely was enough to give us some publicity, which was worth it, and it was fun for me. I never covered a female artist, so that was the first time for me. So
Yeah. Speaking of covers, though, we have a couple more that you guys have done as well. And one of my favorites being one of the greatest bands and most underrated bands in the metal history book, if you ask me. I know that they're really well known. Their logo is everywhere, and people think it's just a tattoo. But Avenged Sevenfold and Unholy Confessions, a fantastic choice out of all of their discography, you guys picked their actual metalcore day, so
Hmm.
that was the best. I was so happy, and seeing so many people on that collab, including Brad from Against the Sun. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, this is exactly what I needed to really get the grasp of what Havoc Faction can do if they were to take something that's well known and mix it in their own way. And so I was very happy with that cover. So when I got to Rose of Sharon, the way that we actually met overall because of where it lies, and
Yeah.
shout out to Tony and everyone that was involved. Like this is
Oh yeah,
huge.
dude. Love
Huge.
Tony, man. It was an
And
honor to sing with him, and I was stoked to have him on it. Um, my buddy Aaron Curtis played guitar on it. Austin from Chasing Desolation played bass, and then I had Ryan Scotty from Cold Weather Kids play drums, and it was super fun to collab with those guys. But yeah, that song meant so much to me, and being able to do that with them was really fun. It was really cool. The video was super fun, and I love doing that. I'm gonna probably do that again this year. Pull
yeah.
together some other musicians from another band and pick a song that's. I usually try to do it for like an anniversary, usually, but I don't. Maybe this year I won't. I don't know. Maybe I'll see what I'm feeling. But I usually like to do that at least once a year. Pick out a song and cover it with as a collective.
Yeah, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you that Bullet for My Valentine, The Poison, is celebrating 20 years. So I mean, if you wanted to.
Shit, that's true. Damn, dude. Oh, I might have to cover a fucking Bullet song.
Yeah, and the only reason I would
Oh
know this is
man.
because I'm not only a huge Bullet fan and have based my scream on Matt Tux, but also because I'm seeing them with Trivium in just a couple of months.
Are you going to the show at the YouTube Theater in April?
Not the YouTube theater. I'm over in Chicago, so I'm gonna be at
Oh,
the.
that's right. I totally forgot that you are not in the state.
Yeah, most people think I am in California, and I'm like, man, if you guys knew how low my bank account is, like, I wouldn't make a day in California.
Well, we'll have to get you out here maybe when we do a Break in Serenity, Where It Lies, Havoc Faction show. We'll do a big fucking show, and you'll have to come out for that.
Oh yeah, I'm planning on going for another self-inflicted fest when they don't choose to do it on a Sunday night in the middle of a week. I work at a hotel,
Oh yeah,
so
self. I think we're actually supposed to play that this year.
yeah, you are. You're over at the whiskey.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. I think we're supposed to play that. I forgot what date that's supposed to be though. I
And I
need to.
hope it takes off this time because they deserve all the love in the world for putting the whole festival together, getting all you guys and your exposure. And, you guys are all kicking ass. So hopefully more people in the other states will be like, holy shit, we got to go to this thing. And you guys can make like your own warp tour out of something that was just a passion project based on one song on an awesome album. It's crazy,
Oh,
man.
dude. Yeah, no, that'd be so kick ass. Like I said, our SoCal music scene, I feel like is really starting to gain a lot of momentum, and I hope that it just continues to do so. Especially with Warped Tour coming back out here and everything like that.
They are bringing it back?
I mean, yeah,
What? Oh my
Warped Tour
God.
is coming back here this summer, I think, in Long Beach.
Oh, that's it. Millennials need to lose more money. That's what it is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We
At
made
least
too
it's two
much.
days instead of fucking when we were young, where it's just one
Oh
day.
my God, that was such a nightmare to deal with, especially when they said that like new what was the other one? Not New Metal Fest. What are they called?
Oh, the Sick
Sick
New
New World.
Worlds.
Sick New World. They were like
Hmm.
wind advisory. No, it was the first when we
That
were
was
young.
yeah, that was the first year for when we were young. They had to cancel it because like yeah, it was like 40 plus mile per hour winds or something like that.
And then there's
It was
me,
gusty.
who's not there as a critic. I'm just like, you idiots, you paid money for this. It's not even happening. This is a sham. And then the next day it actually happened. We're like, what? Like, this actually,
Yeah.
you got all these bands out of retirement, out of hiatus, out of breakup to come back together to play. Like, why can't we do this all the time? Like, if this is possible once, it can happen all the time. That's what I'm saying. But either way, so you were talking about SoCal before, and SoCal is an amazing place, and I want to shout out everybody from the area, but I also want to shout out everyone in California that is helping out during this extremely tragic time with all of the fires that just happened to break out a couple of weeks ago, I think, last week, whatever it
Yeah, it's like
was.
2 weeks ago. Yeah.
And with everyone that is on the front line doing their absolute best, and all the citizens that are taking part, and all of the news that will be overrun by Trump headlines for the next fucking month or so, I
Yeah.
care about you guys. I have no way of personally going over and helping, but I care about you guys enough to say, keep doing what you're doing. AJ is one of the greatest. Sorry, not AJ. Why do I just call him AJ Styles every time I can? Sinister Styles. He's part of Breaking Serenity. He's actually
Oh yeah.
one of the firefighters that works in the mountain range and all of that. He does
Oh
the
shit, I didn't know he was a firefighter.
yeah, he does the very hard work. So I give him and his whole entire team major props for all that they do for the area. And it is insane. It is literally insane, everything that's going on, all the people that are struggling right now. And if you need any assistance whatsoever, feel free to reach out to all of those phone numbers that you're seeing on posts from amazing Southern California people like you guys. Everyone's giving the exposure to get help, and I fucking love it, man. The community that you guys have built, not only as musicians but as people, is something to be absolutely worshipped and adored in all these other states where we're so selfish that we don't help anyone. And in my city, we're homeless people are everywhere. We're just constantly like, I don't have a dollar on me. And that's like the last thing you should be thinking about. You should be like, have you gone and look for assistance? There's got to be something that we can do for you right now. It's not about the money. It's not about the food. It's about like, how can we, get you back on your feet? And it's not been like that recently. It's been of the upperclassmen, if you will. And I saw a guy the other day. He was asking, and I had to do the cold shoulder ignore, and I don't like doing that to people. But I was also going to a concert. I was in line at the security spot. I'm like, I'm not gonna turn around and start talking to the homeless guy when everyone else is past him. But
Yeah.
as I learned from being a Christian, it's not the right thing to do either. You shouldn't outcast people just because they're not on whatever level you think you're on. So, shout out to anyone that's going out of their way to help people in general. And I'm absolutely in that line of learning in my whole life right now. Maturity is hitting late, very late.
Yeah. So, hey, self-awareness is key, man. And like, I get it. Like, none of us are perfect. I've had moments where I didn't like fully ignore like a homeless person trying to talk to me. I'm usually the kind of like, oh, I'm sorry. I usually give him acknowledgement at the least
Hmm.
because it's the least you can give is just basic human acknowledgement. But I also don't. I usually don't have cash on me. I usually don't have much to give at the moment or anything like that. But I do try to. I do when I have stuff to donate. I actually have some stuff I need to donate because I donated some stuff to fire victims like directly. I had some friends who were directly affected, and I was able to actually give them clothes. I'm like, hey, dude, like I got these band shirts and pants. Actually went and bought my friend a pair of jeans because he's like, I was like, do you need pants? And he's like, yeah, 28 by 32. And I was like, oh, I am a 30 by 30. I will get you some pants, my friend. And you do what you can. And I have a whole bag of some other stuff that I'll probably just take to an area where I know there's kind of a collective of homeless people and be like, who needs some new shoes? I got some shoes, 9.5s.
Yeah,
Like stuff that's still in decent condition that I just don't need anymore. But you do what you can at the end of the day.
yeah.
So,
These people,
but yeah, I'm
they just honestly, they just need support. All we need to do is support people, and that's what I do on the podcast. I support the people. I believe you guys are already famous to me, but if there was some dude on the street that was like, "Yo, I got a story to tell," he's on the podcast. That's just how it goes. There is no bias. There is no class bullshit in this
yeah,
podcast. I'm not ever going to do that to somebody. However, there are ones that I am absolutely in love with, and I will talk about that later on. But I do want to talk about the most important thing right now, and we were talking about Rose of Sharon before. By Killswitch Engage, the shirt I'm wearing right now. The reason that I'm
yes,
wearing the
sir.
shirt is because it was your most recent release. Also because Killswitch Engage is my favorite metalcore band. Also because I have to praise the fact that they produce their own stuff. Did you know that? Like
Yeah,
they
yeah,
have
dude.
no
Adam D
produce.
is just fucking. He's a beast, man.
He's like the god of metalcore, man. Every time I look at their stuff, I'm like, all right, they had to learn this from somebody. Nope, they're in all the production credits, all the whole band is the one putting this together. I'm like, they're like Toto for the metalcore. Like, what can I say? This
Yeah.
is an incredibly talented group of musicians, and they know how to make extremely well written songs. And for the fact that they still have yet to actually swear on a studio release is insane. Like, you think about the scene overall and like how people are like, get the fuck up. I want to show your fucking face. You know, it's like always been like that, and they probably are like that live. But on the record, it's always this positive vibe with heavy
Yeah.
sound. Like they're literally the August Burns Red before August Burns Red. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, no, I agree, dude. They're one of my all-time favorite bands, and they're one of my favorite bands to see live. I tried not to ever miss them because their live shows are always incredible. The crowd is always incredible. I love bands that draw a good crowd, and by that I mean a crowd that loves to mosh and crowd surf and scream at each other's faces, the lyrics of the song, like just fucking hands on each other's shoulders, singing together, like that's it, like just that brotherhood, that camaraderie, just coming together for our favorite band. You know, like that's what I love, and Killswitch Engage draws those kinds of crowds, and that's why I love going to their shows. And at working with Adam D is honestly a dream. If I if I had the opportunity to even just do one song, let alone an album, like dude, being able to work with him would just be so incredible. So if I could at least like put out some new stuff to elevate the band and catch some more attention and be like maybe to a point if Adam D finds us worthy, it would be incredible to work with him.
Yes, yes. Okay, so now here comes the segue. I'm gonna prepare you for this one. Killswitch
Okay.
Engage. No matter if you are a fan of Howard or if you're a fan of Jesse, you cannot deny that their writing style is made for those emotional people. And each
Yes.
song tells a story that will hit your heartstrings. One of my favorite songs that got me into them was In Due Time, but the follow up to that on
Mm,
the same album was what is
always.
yes, Always.
Hmm.
And Always is kind of the same honor that you were giving to your mom for that cover of Rose of Sharon.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. You're right. Yeah, because I think Jesse wrote that for his friend. Was I can't remember exactly what he said that was precisely for, but yeah, I know that it was written for grief though. And yeah, no, I love that record, man. When I heard Howard was leaving, because I was a fan when Jesse was originally in the band. That's what got me in. And then right after that, Howard joined the band, and then they dropped End of Heartache, and I was like, I'm still all in. You haven't lost me.
Yeah.
I was like, this is incredible, and I was in ever since. Because Alive or Just Breathing, when I first heard that song, I think the first song I heard was track two, Fixation on the Darkness. That was the first song I ever heard, and I was obsessed. And then after that came End of Heartache, and I was like, oh my god, this is also incredible. And then like I remember they had the song, End of Heartache was on Resident Evil, the Resident Evil soundtrack and everything. Like loved it. I think it was Resident Evil 2. I think it was Resident Evil 2. And but yeah, like it just, and then since then I was a huge fan. And then when I heard Howard just kind of quit the band, I was like heartbroken. I'm like, what the fuck is gonna happen, dude? Are they done? Is that the end of Killswitch Engage? I just graduated high school and I just bought their self-titled record, and then shortly after that he like leaves. I'm like, what the fuck? I was literally heartbroken. And then they announced that Jesse's coming back, and I was like, I fucking lost my mind, dude. I was like, get the fuck out of here. Jesse's coming back. Like I was so happy, dude. Like what an emotional roller coaster. So happy. And then yeah, when they came out that record with In Due Time and everything, oh my god, it was like being reacquainted to an old friend, just you're just like, dude, it's so good to see you, man. It's good to hear your voice. It's been so long. Oh, but you're just, it's so good to have you back. It's, oh, I loved it. That was such a great record for me.
Yes, and it's terrible because there's so many people that have discounted this album as one of their weakest. They're like, "Oh, it's
That's fucking
not as
crazy.
impactful as this one or that one," and I'm like, "Disarmed Descent is
Yeah, Disarm
amazing,
Descent.
amazing."
Yeah, I think that's one of the best ones that they've done since Jesse's been back in the band.
Yep.
Atonement, I think, is amazing too. I think obviously that one was huge because they brought Howard in for a song.
Yeah.
Like that record was so good. Honestly, the one that was in between them was the one that just it didn't really do too much for me. Reincarnate, I
Oh,
think it was
Reincarnate.
called.
Yeah.
I thought it was fine. It was good, but like to me, it
Was it
wasn't the.
Reincarnate?
I think
Oh
that's
no,
what it was.
Incarnate. Incarnate.
Incarnate, yeah, yeah, just incarnate, yeah, just incarnate.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that album was pretty good.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
It
But
was,
like, I don't know,
yeah, it
to
didn't
be in
really hold on.
between, just be in between the other two, I don't know. I think those were just a bit more impactful for me, and I can't wait to hear the new one.
Yeah, dude. Oh
Like,
my God, they're
it
unbelievable.
sounds like it's gonna be heavy. It sounds like it's gonna be pretty brutal. It
Have
seems.
you
I
heard their
mean,
collab with August Burns Red?
oh no, I haven't.
You have not? Oh God, so good.
No, I need to go listen to that for sure. Oh damn, I don't know about that.
Yeah, Lorna Shore also collabed with August Burns Red.
Wow, August Burns Red's just like, let's fucking go. Let's get to some collabs in.
And they're the
Let's
one
get some relevancy
opening
back.
for Trivium and Bullet on this tour.
That's right. They're the opening band, right?
It's gonna be epic, man. Like this is
Yeah,
literally
that
the
is gonna be
ultimate
epic.
metalcore experience.
That truly is.
They would
Oh
just
man,
need Kill
yeah,
Switch.
yeah, dude. If Killswitch was on that shit, I mean, that would just be unreal. They would have to play bigger. They would have to do bigger tour packages, but it'd be riskier.
Yes. Oh, I'm
Like they
looking
would
at
have to do bigger venues, but it'd probably be a little bit harder.
Incarnate has Cut Me Loose. That was one of their biggest singles. Alone I Stand is the first track. Hate by Design. Strength of the Mind. Dude, Strength of the Mind
Strength
and
of
Hate
Mind was
by
good.
Design. I know that they're obviously rhyming right now, but
Yeah.
like I can hear the chorus as soon as I read the title.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
that's how
Exactly. And
straight into
that's how
it.
good they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I love them. I love them so much, but you're so right. Disarmed the Descent needs more love. It absolutely does. I was gonna go with the Always and then talk about grief and things like that, but we'll skip that for now because we still gotta talk about Power Rangers. I still got like 7 minutes before I go to sleep. Um,
Fair enough.
I will say this: Kill Switch Engage, the album that came out with Howard before Jesse's return, was one of my favorites to listen to. It is still one of my favorites. I actually need to own that specific one just because I think it's Howard at his absolute best. And I love End of Heartache, and I am absolutely in love with their. Oh my God, why do I forget names of. Hold on one second.
Daylight, daylight breaking
No. As Daylight Dies.
as daylight dies.
I
That's
was
right.
like, how do
Daylight
I
breaking is
forget?
another
Oh, yeah, it's my favorite
another
album.
album.
I can't remember it.
As daylight dies. Yeah.
Yeah, My Curse and all of that, all of the big hits, but
Dude,
at the same time,
that was peak. That was peak Howard, in my opinion.
it is. It is the best. But his final, like, time being the main guy as the name Kill Switch Engage is so amazing because the first time that Jesse was with the band, their album was also Kill Switch Engage.
Yeah, self-titled. Yeah.
So it was self-titled two times, one of them Jesse, one of them Howard, and you get to see two different eras of the band as they move
Yeah.
forward from that album on. And which is really cool because it's the exact opposite of how you would think. You'd be like, "Oh, well obviously the Howard era starts with Howard and goes all the way to Jesse." And it's like, no, it started with Jesse, goes to Howard, then goes back to Jesse. And it's like, it's just this between the two greatest vocalists for the band. And I love that they were on the same track together.
Yeah.
What was
Signal Fire was
Signal
fucking
Fire?
sick.
Yeah.
And I totally forgot that they actually did another track together too. It was like a bonus song on I think it was like Irreversible or something like that. I think they re-recorded it. I think it was originally a bonus track on Alive or Just Breathing, and then they redid it with Howard too, I think.
Yeah.
something along those lines. And that's when they first did a song together. So it was really cool to have them do that again. And it sounds like they're going to do it again on this next record, I think. I thought I saw a post on their social media about that. I thought I saw that they showed Howard in the studio with him again, but I could be mistaken. It could be for a totally different project. I just remember Adam D and Howard posting together. So I was thinking it was for another Kill Switch song. So we'll see.
We're all good, man. We're gonna keep rambling, I swear. All right, so first of all, let's talk about Rose of Sharon. Why you chose that song? That was the most important thing I wanted to talk about because we talked about it in the pre-chat just a little bit, and you said this is in honor of your mom, and she's the picture that you see in the video. I was wondering who these
She is,
pictures
yeah.
were. I thought it was like just placement with the original video, and I was like, wait, no, this isn't in the original video.
Yeah, no, that was the one thing with the original video that like I not that I felt like it lacked, but I felt like, obviously I guess maybe they didn't want to
Mhm.
say exactly who it was. Whereas for me is like I chose to cover the song because it was for my mom and to pay tribute to her, and is the 20-year anniversary of her passing, as well as the 20-year anniversary of that song and that record. So it's just kind of my way of just paying tribute to both. Um, because that song got me through all of that. And it really, like, I don't think any song is truly like, in my opinion, that I've really listened to, captured like just that feeling of grief, but while being uplifting at the same time. Like, I love the lyrics in that, and how like it won't be long, we'll meet again. Like, I just, that shit hits me so hard. Like, and it still carries weight for me. And singing that in the studio with my friend Aaron was even tough because my voice would break while I'm singing, or I'm like trying to stay on pitch, but my voice is wavering and stuff. So like I got through it, but I remember going back another day. I'm like, I need to redo the chorus. I need to sing it more powerful. Like I need, like, let me redo that chorus again. Let me do that again. And yeah, just trying to get through that. But the screaming parts, for sure, I went hard with that. And having Anthony from Where It Lies, having his vocals in there to sing with, was really cool. And I really love the harmony that he added as well. Like, that's something that's not in the original version, and we added a harmony in there, which I thought really kind of was our own touch to it, that I think amplified the song a little bit more.
So true. I
So that
loved
was
that
that
part
was
of it
fun.
because
Thanks. Yeah, it was nice to add that.
his voice just like complements yours. That's the thing, is like it doesn't
Thanks.
overpower it. It
Yeah,
complements it. And if you
that's
guys were
exactly
both
what our goal was.
yeah, if you were both hitting the same notes in unison, it would be nearly impossible to determine who was singing that. But it was nice to
Yeah.
hear his screams and then his cleans underneath your main clean. I was like, okay, this is great. Also, the
Oh
layering, the
yeah.
video, the videography, whoever does all of your work, incredible overall. One of your best videos, no question. However, it still misses the comic book part, minus what you're wearing. I was so happy to see all of the comic stuff. So let's finish off with some amazing comic books that I never experienced. And I'm going to tell you my quickest story of all time. I was a Power Ranger kid forever, and I decided that live action superheroes was the only way to go. I didn't think about going and looking at cartoons in paper format. I never thought of it. It
Yeah.
never came to mind until one day I got a comic book for free with my
Nice.
brand new action figure for the movie Daredevil from 2003. The all, the fingers move in the right way and the toes curl and all that. You were like, "Oh my gosh, wow, this is so cool." And so it came with this comic, and it was awful. It was like watching Spider-Man at his absolute worst moment being attacked by a nonstop, just absolute monster. And I was like, this is horrible. And so I looked it up after all these years. Torrent is the series that most Spider-Man fans say is too dark to handle. And
Oh
I read
wow.
that as a kid. And I
As your
thought
first
all comic
introduction.
books were all like this just
Oh wow.
grotesque, weird, ugly looking thing because you have hair of Peter Parker like coming through his mask, and it
Yeah, yeah,
looks like
yeah.
he's as fat as the dude from Space Jam. Like I was so confused on what was going on, like what the animators, and I was 9, so I was like, what are these animators trying to do to my favorite hero? Like this sucks. I hate this. And so I held a grudge against it forever. I was so pissed, man. I was so sad because I was like, I'll
Oh
never
my God,
get
that's
into
so funny.
comics because of this one comic experience.
Wow, that's wild that
Indeed.
was your introduction.
But how about yours? What was your introduction like?
Like my very first like comic books.
Yeah, what was your first comic character that you were obsessed with?
Oh my, I mean, guess I guess Batman
Nice.
because I remember when I was a kid, I watched Batman 1989 with Michael Keaton. Like my parents liked that movie a lot. My dad loved that movie. And then on the animated series came shortly after that, and I was watching that as a kid. And X-Men the animated series, but honestly, Spider-Man the animated series hit me really hard. I fucking loved the Spider-Man animated series in the 90s. Like I was obsessed. I had like the McDonald's toys. I had all the other action figures. I was obsessed with Venom when I
Yeah.
discovered what Venom was. But I loved all his villains. I had an older friend who lived in the neighborhood as me, same neighborhood as me. He's a few years older than me, and he just had all the action figures. Um, but yeah, between that and then also the Ninja Turtles too. Like I was obsessed with the Ninja Turtles. Absolutely obsessed with the Ninja Turtles. All of that, dude. Literally. I know we talked about this in the pre-chat, but like literally the 90s was
The
golden
king.
era, man.
Yeah.
Golden era to be a kid. But yeah, I was definitely obsessed with Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Absolutely.
And so, what was your favorite comic series that you were reading when it came to that? Like, was there one that like they animated it differently, and you were like, "I'm really into this style"?
I definitely loved the Todd McFarlane era. I like how he drew Spider-Man. I love that he came up with Venom and everything. Like I thought all of that was so cool. But honestly, the one that I really read through the most, because I still need to go back and read through a lot of that stuff. I only read like some issues here and there and things like that. Um, but what I really read through completely was Superior Spider-Man,
Oh,
which are you familiar with Superior Spider-Man at all?
I'm looking them up right now.
It was within the last 10 years, and it was a very interesting time because they killed Peter Parker technically, and Doc Ock took over his consciousness. He basically swapped consciousness with Peter Parker mid-battle, and Doc Ock's body died with Peter Parker's consciousness in it,
Wait,
and Doc Ock remained in Peter Parker's body.
so that's why they gave Steel what did they have? Iron Spider in Infinity War. That's why he has those claws that come out that Tony created.
Well, technically, that was in the comics. Tony gave him that suit, the
Okay.
Iron Spider, and it had those mechanical legs.
Oh, okay.
But I believe in Superior Spider-Man, he also added legs to his suit as well,
Yeah, I was
without
looking
it
at
being
that.
the spider armor. And
Interesting.
yeah, so of course, it's Doc Ock. He's like, I need my extra limbs, and I'm a spider, so it's still 8 legs. It makes sense. It like made sense like for Doc Ock to be the one to do that, which I thought was a very interesting like story choice.
Yeah.
Some people I think hated it, but I loved it. I thought it was very interesting. And he wanted, instead of like just taking over the body and then being a villain, he's like, I'm gonna be the superior Spider-Man. I'm gonna be the best Spider-Man. And he was efficient. He killed motherfuckers at first for a while, and then Peter Parker's subconscious kind of started coming in there and trying to tell him to, he started getting these weird things. He started feeling guilt, and he's like, "What the fuck is this feeling of guilt?" So he stopped. He kind of stopped killing people, and it was really cool. And then it was also kind of like it really spun off into the Spider Verse too, as well. It really opened up a lot of Spider Verse doors.
Mhm.
So it was a really interesting thing. And that was one like where I really kind of read through everything. So I really appreciate Superior Spider Man for that.
Love it, man. Love it. Yeah. If I had any comic books that I could read right now in front of me, it would probably be Deadpool. I have been
Oh
obsessed with
yeah,
the
love Deadpool.
character ever since his video game. My friend and I, we played that.
Oh yeah, on the Xbox 360 when that first came out.
Dude, the Xbox 360 is 20 years old this year.
Fuck.
I know. It hurts so bad, but I got my Xbox
No
360 games
way.
back from my fiance today so I could make sure that they're all working for one, and for two to just go through all the good times with before we had DLC and bullshit.
Yep, yep, yep.
But they had
I
DLCs
know.
back then too. But yeah,
They
no.
did.
So
They did, but then they would release the game that had all the DLC content on it, usually, where you're like, oh, cool, I can just own the game that has all of that. Awesome.
But yeah, that Deadpool game inspired me so much to understand why this character is an absolute just blast. He is the blast of all blasts that I needed with superheroes.
Hmm.
And even though it's as violent as all of the darkest shit that you see in DC and Kick Ass and Kingsman and even The Mask, the one that's not based on the Jim Carrey version, very
Oh, yeah, yeah,
violent.
yeah.
So I was like, is this going to be too much for me? When I saw the first movie, I saw it 8 times in theaters.
Oh,
Eight
amazing.
times, dude. I supported Ryan Reynolds more than probably most of his family members, man. I was
That's so funny.
obsessed with that movie, which I have currently right here, of course, because I have everything always with me.
Yes. I
So,
know I collect. I have a collection of movies and CDs as well. I appreciate. Mine is I wonder if I can I switch my camera around?
yep, should be a
How do
little
I do
click.
that?
Does it not let you?
I don't know. I'm dumb on these apps when I have never used it or not haven't used it in a long time. I'm just gonna do this. I don't know if you can see it, but I have all my games. It turns around and stuff,
It
but
is
it's
foggy, but
got
I could tell you
you can make
exactly
that's got yeah.
what the
I'm
poster
like
is
I don't know
above
how to
it.
fucking
Return of the
yeah I
Jedi.
don't know. Yep, I got my Star Wars posters.
Oh,
I know it's all kind
sick.
of blurry. I don't even know how to turn my blur off. I don't even know how to.
Star Wars
I don't
posters.
I really don't know how to do this, but yeah, I got my Star Wars posters.
There's mine.
Nice, nice.
All
Oh, Baby
six
Driver, great
movies.
movie.
The best movie I've ever seen is Baby Driver.
Love Baby Driver, great movie.
Absolutely. We're going to talk about movies next, of course, as well, because we have a little bit more to go through.
Oh
um,
yeah, dude. Hey man, if you ever just wanna, I'll just come on your podcast and we can just talk. We can just nerd out, man. We can nerd out about an album, out discography or movies. I'm game, dude.
good. We're going to do that then another time. We'll do that with Jason
Yes.
Vilches. Do you know who that is?
No, I don't think so.
Time to
I
meet
forget.
Jason Vilches. I'm going to bring him on. No, I'm just kidding. He's in your
And
area.
he's like, Kyle, you don't know me, dude. I met you at one of your shows. I'm like, oh, fuck.
No,
I
he's
was set
friends
up,
with
dude.
Scarlet Siren,
Oh, Scarlet Siren. Okay, yeah, yeah.
and he
I, I,
knows a couple other
I
people as
think
well.
I'm pretty sure we've played with them at least once, but I don't think I met them.
You're going
Pretty
to.
sure.
You're going to, because you're going to self-inflicted.
Yes, absolutely.
So whenever you meet everybody else and just be like, "Hey, you heard of this Media Man Dan guy?" They'll be like, "No way!"
I know you're all wrapped up in our music scene, dude. I
All
love
welcome
that.
to the family moments. That's literally an
Yeah.
Avenged Sevenfold feel for me, man. But
Hell
yeah,
yeah,
man.
dude.
So my finisher for everything, everybody that's watching right now, I want to appreciate you guys for handling all of my great editing, because there's a lot of this that I'm cutting and putting only on Patreon. Even the interview portions are going to Patreon in some cases, because I'm like, all right, off topic, off topic, off topic,
Yeah, yeah.
on
Fair enough. Fair
topic.
enough.
But no, we're good, man. This was a super fun. I want to know how I can promote what's coming next for Havoc Faction.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, our goal is to. I'm finishing up a comic book sampler right now, which is going to be about 18. Sorry, not 18 pages front and back. Front and back, it would be end up being about 9 pages. But I think I might end up using the back to promote other things like your podcast or other bands. So it's kind of like a comic book. It'd be like a zine in that way. You know, it's like
Yeah,
the comic book would be on, the front page. On the back of that page is kind of a promotion. And then the other page is the comic book panels. And then on the back of that page is some more promotion. Just so I can fill the whole thing out,
without getting sued, Is Game Informer still a thing?
I don't know.
What if you had one called Band Informer and just,
Band Informer? Oh, that's kind of neat. Yeah,
use
that's
that
actually,
logo?
dude.
That
I
font?
mean,
Yeah.
dude, this sounds like this could be something. If you were to take off with that,
Right? I was thinking about it today. My family and I were watching one of those rom com movies, a Nicholas Sparks movie, and I said, "Why don't we have a movie from the perspective of all the guys that get left behind when all the girls go to their true
yeah,
love, and they're just like all sitting in the
brilliant.
bar together? It's exactly like what they do on How It Should Have Ended. You know, he
Yeah,
she
yeah,
yeah."
yeah,
So like they're
yeah,
just
yeah,
sitting in a bar and they're like, "What happened to you?" "Oh, fucking true love, bro." Be like, "Oh well,
yeah,
what are we
yeah.
gonna do now?" It's like, I don't know. True love only happens to them. We never get anything. Like they just become like the the villains having therapy from Wreck It Ralph. You know?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Oh, dude, that's actually a really good idea. You shouldn't share this publicly.
No. I'm gonna see
Just
if
keep
there's
this between
anyone
us.
involved in. Actually, I do know some people in film. Oh my god. Okay. Well, I will. Yeah, this will obviously keep a Patreon moment, but okay. Let's
Yeah, keep
finish
this for a
off.
Patreon moment. I'm gonna tell everyone if they want the full interview, go do the Patreon because
Yep.
it is worth it.
$1.
But yeah, other than that, dude, we're working on a full length album. That's the goal, and hopefully this comic book sampler will be out soon, and then I can start working on the full. I think I want to do like 8 to 9 issue like comic book um, series that will really start fleshing everything out. So that's my goal.
Hell yes, I'm all for it because not only did we discuss this in the pre-chat, but it's just the ultimate band in my opinion is Red. And they're the only band as far as I know besides I think Dance Gavin Dance that have put together some kind of lore in a universe with comic book style. And Red's of Beauty and Rage is 10 years old this year. And
Wow.
how perfect. Do you have that comic by chance? Because you
I
are a big
don't.
fan? No?
I don't, but I need to. I didn't. I fell off a little bit, so I need to go back and revisit that for sure. That sounds
Yes.
epic.
Yes. Yes. That album specifically is their best work they've ever made. In my opinion, they're never going to reach that again, and that's okay because you can only reach that peak at one point, and then you can just tribute that. They'll be like, "Hey,
Yeah,
you know,
fair
you
enough.
like that sound? We'll put it on this track. We'll put it on this track, but not the whole album because the whole album was a concept piece that they wanted. Except for Take Me Over, I'm gonna have to talk with them. I plan on interviewing them in the near future.
Oh, that would be epic, dude. I would love for them to be on your show. That'd be sick.
Yeah, so I'm gonna do my best to contact their management. I already talked to their drummer, so hopefully things will work out.
Hell yeah.
This year is gonna be a whole new world for me, man, and I'm talking like literally Aladdin. That's how I'm feeling about this year. Like I'm just shooting
Love it.
for the stars. I'm riding my magic carpet. I'm asking everyone all over the planet. I've been messaging big artists, small artists, every single person in every genre, every political spectrum, every single background, every age, even. I have some kids that are still in high school that want to be on the podcast. I said, sure thing, get
There you
me to
go.
talk with your parents, and then we'll be able to do that. Because I'm not doing
Yeah.
anything on camera until I know I have consent from your families to do it.
Yeah, of
The last
course.
thing I need
Gotta cover
is
your bases. But
exactly.
that's great
It's
because yeah, they'll be stoked. They're like, yeah, dude, I was on this podcast. Like
yeah,
they'll promote that all their friends. You'll get views there and like
yeah.
they'll go check out your other stuff. No, I think that's really smart, dude. Absolutely.
Definitely, definitely. And so my whole business mindset is to just as much growth this year as much as I'm also giving that promotional quality a boost as it should always be to those people that have helped me get to where I'm at. Like that's what matters. Like even you right now, man, the fact that you gave me that comment on the Sonic post, it changed my whole perspective because everyone sees my stuff and just presses the like button, but very
Yeah.
few of them leave a comment to say something. And when I see that's being done, I'm like, okay, well, they actually care. This is somebody that actually cares. So we'll definitely, yeah, I'll bring you back on for a movie centric episode. For right
Oh, dude, I
now,
would love that.
for right now, let me finish this. Then we'll go to the Power Ranger chat, and then I'll finish off for the night. So I want to thank everybody for being here. Literally, all of you guys are epic but not as epic as the comic that you're going to see this year from Havoc Faction. So much great music is going to be coming your way. I have already heard the demo that they put up on their Instagram, which you guys can go and check out right now. All of their links are in the description right down below. Don't miss out on anything. I promise you are just going to get more and more fire, and, you know, pardon the pun with California there, but you're going to get nothing but heat coming at you from this band. So make sure you follow them on all platforms. Subscribe to their YouTube channel because their music videos are badass. Like, if you are missing out on those good old times with superheroes, you gotta check out their stuff. It is so fucking cool. Along with that, you got Kyle here. You got everyone that is part of the band that is a real person that just wants to make amazing music that entertains you. And if you can, help them out financially. Get some merch. Go see them live.
Yes.
Give them some support. They need this. Doesn't matter how big you think they are right now. They can continue to grow. And people like Kyle, people that are in the area of SoCal that are keeping it real, they deserve to make it all the way to the top, and they will help the other ones get there as well. Thank you guys for watching another amazing episode. Thank you, Kyle, for being here. An absolutely amazing gentleman.
Of course, man. It's an honor to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, man. And all you guys have an awesome night and stay safe out there. Peace. All right, keep recording. Okay, Power Ranger, quick quiz. When was it that you stopped?
I think I fell off after In Space. I loved In Space. Power Ranger Space was like probably one of my favorites.
It's the best season. That's okay.
I loved Power Rangers in Space, and then it went into
Lost Galaxy.
Lost Galaxy. I think I watched Lost Galaxy, and then when I fell off.
To the 10th Power, did you see that episode?
Was that in Lost Galaxy?
It's when In Space and Lost Galaxy combined together to fight the Psycho Rangers.
Oh yeah, the Psycho Rangers. Yep.
And then the Pink Ranger died.
The Psycho Rangers. Yeah, that's right. Oh my God, yes. I haven't watched it in a long time, but some of that shit stuck with me because it was like such a prominent core memory.
Yes. Yes. That season specifically had one of the most traumatizing episodes for any Power Rangers fan.
Yeah.
It was called Rescue Mission. Have you ever seen that one? That was the one where they literally make a, I guess, PG version of Alien, where they have to go on a mission to get these people back to the space station, and they're getting attacked by an alien, and until they morph, it's literally an alien movie. Like the whole time. Right. It's super on edge.
Oh my God, I forgot, dude. I would love to go back and rewatch, because that was also the era where they crossed over with the Ninja Turtles live action TV show at the time.
In Space did the crossover with the Ninja Turtles. Unfortunately, it was the one with the girl turtle, light blue, and not as cool as the OGs, but it was still cool enough to see them all together shaking hands with another fictional universe.
That's what we always wanted. That's like an ultimate 90s moment. You have the Ninja Turtles meeting the Power Rangers live action on TV. Like, that was the ultimate thing as a kid.
So let me tell you this. Later on, did you ever see Wild Force and the Red Ranger episode?
I was familiar with Wild Force, but is that when Jason came back?
Jason, Tommy, TJ, all of the Red Rangers ever, including the Alien Ranger from Mighty Morphin.
That's right.
Go against the what was the thing that Lord Zed had, that stupid snake-looking dragon thing? I think it was from Turbo, or it was from Zeo. But they brought that back, and so they had to defeat it by having all the Red Rangers team up on I think it was on the moon, to fight the forces of evil. And it was the biggest high budget thing you could have ever imagined in the 2000s for Power Ranger fans. And I will never forget it because it's an amazing episode. I think it's why don't I remember the name? My friend is going to kill me right now.
I do remember that, though.
I have it. I have all of them. All right, first of all, In Space is right here.
Nice.
All the people that were watching the other interview are going to be like, Dan, you just did this. The other interview literally ended this exact same way.
That's funny.
All right. And this is only to give you understanding of like why you should continue watching it just a little bit longer. You don't have to stay for like all the way up to the last season that they had. But Wild Force. Okay, so Wild Force brought back the Red Rangers. 2 years later, Tommy came back and ran the team in Dino Thunder.
Oh, really? Wow, I did not know that. I remember Dino Thunder, but I didn't know he came back.
His final Ranger form was black.
Oh, wow.
So he got to have an episode fighting his past selves in order to find out his true power. Like you were talking about with superheroes, like having that low moment, trying to figure out how they can enhance what they already know. That whole episode, he literally is fighting against Zeo Red and the White Ranger and the Green Ranger as the Black Ranger.
Wow.
And it's all him doing, voice work and everything. And rest in peace to Jason David Frank. He is a legend. I saw him and met him.
He truly is.
In that
Wow.
year, it was rough, but it was so worth it. I'm so glad that I did get to meet him, just so I can have that memory and to be like, guys,
yeah, of course.
This was one of the real people. You get very few of them from our TV show days, because they all are actors. But this guy, when he talked to people, when he talked to kids especially, you could tell he was the real deal. What he does. Yeah. And it's so sad with how it all turned out. But all right, so here's the reason why you need to go on from Lost Galaxy. Lost Galaxy was the best season after In Space. Like, this is one of the best seasons of all Power Rangers. It's in the top 10 for most fans, and top 2 for mine. I think like Lost Galaxy and In Space are pretty much tied, but In Space has like a better story. Lightspeed Rescue. This has the coolest Silver Ranger. I mean, In Space had Zane.
I actually do remember that, the Silver Ranger.
But Titanium Ranger and
Titanium Ranger,
the idea of taking everyday heroes, firefighter, helicopter pilot, and creating that Power Ranger team was a new idea that had never been done before. Power Rangers Time Force is literally everyone's favorite season. It actually takes it extremely seriously as they kill the leader of the Power Rangers in the first episode and try to find a replacement who ends up later down being somebody that looks exactly like their original leader. And then they also give the power to the Pink Ranger. So progressive, creative, super out there, and it has time travel in it. It's a really well-made season. Overall, one of the best actors is from my town, my city. He's not too far away at all. Yeah, Wes grew up here in Illinois, so he's a great actor. I can't remember his actual name right now, but he's really, really good. And then Wild Force, I already told you for the Red Rangers, but they also have a cool idea where every single episode they have a new Zord like enhancement. So every single episode, they're trying to find a new animal. That animal becomes a Zord, and then that gets added to the Megazord so that they can fight with whatever that is against the forces of evil, which in this place are orgs. And then we have the 6th Ranger in this episode this season is the wolf, the Lunar Wolf Ranger, silver wolf looking thing, and it has a backstory with a werewolf that was possessing him his whole life.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, same with the Silver Ranger in Lightspeed. He was being possessed by an Egyptian snake from the demons below that are haunting the Rangers that season. So like these are good reasons to watch just this season. Ninja Storm was the first one that had CGI. We had an actual flexible Megazord. It wasn't the big walking puppet things the whole time and mascot outfits. It was actually like a really cool CG with like jumping and doing kickbox moves, and it was very cool. Also, they were skater kids and they were self-aware. The Yellow Ranger literally says in the first episode, "Oh my god, we're Power Rangers." Like they know what that is, and then he can't morph right because he doesn't hold his hand up the correct way. He's like, why do we do all these moves? Like there's a couple of seasons that make fun of what they do, but this one is also very good with adding so many Rangers and their stories and their conflicts. So altogether there's a team of 7 Rangers by the end of this one. And then for the final one, I of course would recommend the one where Tommy's in charge. He gives one episode called The History of Power, where they explain the entire Power Rangers timeline up to that moment. Like the entire thing, all explained by Jason David Frank as Tommy to all of us fans and, of course, new fans of the show, so they could be involved with everything that happened, all the big things that took place and the characters that came across the way. And they did it in 30 minutes. So that's like
Wow.
insane. And I've always found that is like the coolest thing. And then the next episode he becomes a Black Ranger. Spoiler alert. So it's
Oh
like
man.
you can't beat this kind of hype, man. Like this was my MCU before the MCU. Like they didn't have
Yeah.
anything as close as Infinity War besides Power Rangers. Like nobody could do that. Even DC
Yeah.
with their Justice League, an amazing job with their cartoon and their animation, and it came with
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
of the
Agreed.
animations that we knew, but it just didn't have the impact like Power Rangers did of like taking this season, these characters, these actors, they're coming back, they're in their suits. It's so cool. And so when I saw Infinity War and Endgame, I was like, I got that again.
Brought you. Yeah, it brought you back to that. Yeah. No, I love that. No, that's great.
Yeah, man.
That's cool. I might revisit that just for fun.
There you go, man. And I mean, some of them are
I
free.
appreciate. I appreciate the walkthrough.
Of course, man. I'll always be able to hype you up on anything in less than a minute. That's why I do those short movie reviews, and I have at least 17 coming. So be sure to keep up
Sick.
with that. I was trying to watch Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes yesterday, and at the same time I was trying to get those final edits and reactions out. So I missed most of the movie. Like you said, it's very hard to consume content when you're so
Yeah.
distracted with other things you're
About
creating.
creating. Yeah. Yeah.
So I was struggling with that, but I'm planning on reviewing that movie again because I saw the trilogy for the first time ever last year. I saw
Oh,
the
nice.
original one. I didn't remember seeing the second one because I was at the drive-in. I think I fell asleep. And then the third one I completely missed. The third one is my favorite movie. I did not
Yeah.
know how good that was until I saw it, and I was
Trilogy was
like,
great. It
shit.
ends so it's so emotional at the end. It ends so well.
Exactly. You get it. It's like they actually made you believe that the apes have human traits. Like that's the whole
Yeah.
thing is like even in the new one, like Caesar's rock has the window design that he drew in the prison cell when he was
Mm-hmm.
taken away from James Franco. And I don't know his actual character because he's apparently useless to me. But like he always had that, and it's like that one thing that he holds on to. And I just love how they played on it on each movie and like the morals and values of these characters, and it's really well done. Also the animation in the new one from the times that I did get to see, and the action scenes looked tremendous, like really good if you haven't seen Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, no, I liked it. I saw it in theaters. I
Oh,
have
you
the
did?
AMC Movie Pass, so I try to go see as many movies as I can that I'm interested in because I'm like I'm paying $25 a month. I might as well go watch movies.
Oh, you're
I
an
love watching
A-lister.
movies. Yeah, I love watching movies. I'm
Oh
a
my
big
god.
movie buff, so I try to go watch movie. Like I wanted to go watch Wolfman, but
No.
I I heard mixed
Nosferatu.
reviews.
Nosferatu.
I love Nosferatu.
Oh, you
Loved it.
saw it. Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh my god, dude, that was a tremendously well done cinematic
It
masterpiece.
was so nice, dude. It was so nice to watch like a real like it was a piece of film. You know what I mean? Like it
Yes.
was film. Like
It was making
that's the way
history.
I describe that movie. I'm like, it wasn't a movie, it was filmed.
It
Like,
like avoided being modern except for that weird blood sucking scene where he's just like
yeah,
and I was like,
yeah,
"Oh, that's straight out of It." Here we go with Bill Skarsgård always becoming the fucking Pennywise the clown again.
yeah. He's great, dude. He was so good at just being like his voice was fantastic. Yeah, I loved it.
If he didn't have a
Super well done.
mustache, he would have been much more imposing to me.
That's true. I feel like the mustache took away
I get what they
a
were
little
doing.
bit.
They were following the actual probably mythology and just the
Yeah.
location and how people would have looked at that time. However, no.
Yeah, I know. I thought at first the mustache when I first saw it, I thought it was a little cheesy, but it grew on me.
But if you were to
But I feel you.
give Roger Edgers, right? That's his name, Robert Edgers, Roger Edgers.
I
If
think
you
so, yeah.
gave him the rights to work on any remake from animation, this dude would kill it at
Yeah.
Anastasia,
Oh, I would love that.
right? I could just see
Would
in the
love
dark of
that.
the night in his own form with the extra darkness and just the whoever he would choose to be the singing voice. Oh my god, it would be tremendous. I just keep saying tremendous. It's stupendous.
Stupendous. I would love that, dude. I love Anastasia.
Hell yeah,
So
dude.
that'd be rad.
All right.
I
Well,
would love it to be dark and more adulty. Like, that'd be cool.
I'm going to contact Jason to see when his birthday is. When's your birthday, by the way?
October 6th, 1990.
October 10th, 1993.
Oh, nice, dude. Libras.
Yes, sir.
October, spooky season. Love it.
Yeah, man. So I don't want to make you wait that long, but if there's a time that we can all get together and talk about movies, that'd be great. Jason's
Oh, dude,
podcast
anytime.
is called Media
Anytime.
Drome. Media Drome, all one word.
Okay.
Drome, and they run as much as they can, as often as they can. They have a review almost every week, and it's tremendous. Damn it. Stop saying the same thing, Dan. It's awesome. It's a really fun, engaging experience. You get to hear a completely different perspective from each person that's involved in their overall movie review panel. They have 4 members altogether, and he's one of them. Jason has
Nice.
some of the most base takes at times and some of the most edgy takes at times where I'm like, dude, why would you like that? Why would... No, don't defend this. The Last Jedi? Get out of here.
Oh my God, I can't even.
Well, excellent. We will have a fun time. Hopefully, with him in the near future, I will get another movie buff on, and then then we'll just nerd out about everything that we saw. Wait, we could do a 2024 review oh.
That'd
No,
be fun.
I got to do one by myself because I know that I put my editor through a lot and she always is helpful. So I'm going to do one for myself, but then I'll also do one with you guys. That would be fun. I've
Yeah.
seen 32 movies as far as I know.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
All right. Good stuff, man. Thank you again for joining me. I'm sorry for taking this long. I know it doesn't bother you because it's only 10:32, but here I have to work in exactly
Oh yeah,
6 hours.
oh yeah, my man. Yeah, you go. Yeah, you go get some sleep, bro.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And again, thank you for giving me the time. And I really enjoyed listening to your music. Can't wait to hear more of it. And now that I have
Oh yeah.
more understanding of what each song kind of means to you, it's going to help me understand it more.
Of course, dude. Thank you so much for just having me on, dude. This was a great interview. It's probably one of my favorite podcasts I've been on.
Awesome, man. So great to hear that. Please spread the word as soon as it comes out this weekend. Most likely
Oh yeah.
Sunday. Most likely.
Cool. Done deal. Yeah, I'll be promoting the shit out of it.
Awesome. Thank you, man.
All right, dude. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, sounds good.
Bye.
Have a good night. Peace.